everyone, Grey Power 60 here. Welcome to another Tea with Me Tuesday. Oh, what a day. I was so totally exhausted from the craft fair on Sunday, and I just crashed. I had such a sore back because I was on my feet the whole time. But I'll give you the details of that in another video. Today, I just want to sit back, relax, and have a little chat with you. We kind of had a bit of a traumatic day today, and as you know, I'm taping the night before. My son-in-law is a diabetic, and he has been since he was 9 years old, and he usually takes really good care of himself, and he hadn't been looking too well, his mom was saying, for the last couple of days. And today, he was just not feeling well. And my daughter called me around noon. They had gone to the hospital. Our urgent care places, some of them were just too busy. Mondays are bad for that. And anyway, his sugars were fluctuating and so on and so forth. And he's on insulin and that kind of thing. But anyway, so they spent the day, and my daughter had asked me if I'd go and pick up the kids. His mom doesn't drive. Well, she doesn't have a car. So they didn't know if it was going to take all day or how long and everything. And I was worried. So Mom and I went, and we picked up the kids at 3:30 and made arrangements to pick up my son-in-law's mom, so that because emergencies, you never know, it takes, they take a test and then it takes a long time to get the results back, and they check everything and they do this and they were so good. Our healthcare is amazing, they spare no chances on anything. They check everything. And my daughter was with them all day, and I just got a call just a little while ago. So right now it's 10 o'clock, and they got home, I guess, around 9:30, 9 o'clock, I guess. And he was feeling much better. So they gave him a lot of fluids. I think he was probably a little dehydrated. And anyway, the boys were good. I went and picked up my son-in-law's mom and bought the kids some lunch, supper. We went to McDonald's today. That was their treat. And, we had a good time. I brought one of the kids' crafts with me. It's making a snowman, and it's all foam. I think there's 8 or 10 of them. And the oldest and the youngest each made a snowman for their dad. And the middle one, he was downstairs. I think he was doing something else. So anyway, long story short, he's doing much better. And I had just had a long talk with my daughter, and I'm so proud of her. Oh, Mom just got up. I'll be right back. Okay, Mom just woke up from a deep sleep. She wanted to know how my son-in-law was doing, and so I gave her all the news. She comes out without her hearing aid. She's asking me questions, and I can't answer her, so I had to go into the bedroom, get her to put her hearing aid on, and told her all the news. Got her to get undressed because she was in her clothes under the covers. So got Mom to get all undressed and ready for bed, take her hearing aid out, and then she could go to sleep. So, Mom's gotten to the point now where she's very childlike, and I don't mind at all. I've gotten used to it over I'd say the last couple of weeks have been a little bit more so, where it's like teaching a 2-year-old. You have to have patience. You've got to um, use your words carefully and be very specific on what you're asking. So ask them to do 3 things. You know, brush your teeth, comb your hair, wash your face. Well, he would remember to wash his face because it was the last thing I told him, but he couldn't remember the others. So it's kind of like that with children. You don't ask them to do 2, 3, or 4 things. You just ask them to do one thing at a time. And that's what I do with Mom, one thing at a time. Um, she's a dear, dear woman. And as I said in another video, I've learned to love my mom again. And I'm learning patience. And I've always had empathy, but I think even more so for my mom because, you know, she had a hard life. My mom had a hard life, and I'm proud of her for being a strong woman. And I think that's where I get my strength from. I come from a long line of strong women who had to be strong. They had no choice. My grandmother was a widow young. My mom was a widow young. Um, you know, um, I had aunts. My aunt was my godmother, my dad's sister. She was a widow, very young, and I saw the strength in them, and I think that helped me be a stronger person. And anyway, and I was just saying to my daughter tonight when she was giving me the news about my son-in-law that he was fine and things, and she was saying that when they were in the hospital, and I don't think I finished it, I think Mom interrupted me, but what she was saying, he was saying he was so sorry that she had to spend the day with him and that, she couldn't be doing other things she wanted to do. And my smart daughter said to him, you know, any day that I can spend the whole day with you and without the kids is a blessing, and I love it. And you know what? I think she's a good wife. She is a good wife. She knows what needs to be said and what needs to be heard. And I love you needs to be heard as well. And she's a good person. And I'm blessed to have a daughter like her. I'm blessed. Okay, kitties. I got my kitties meowing all over the house. So what else? So that was pretty much my day today. It was I did not sleep well last night, and now I know why. It's funny when someone in my family, I don't know if any of you are like this, but when anyone in my family is not well or something is going on, I cannot sleep. I toss and I turn, and my thoughts are scrambled. It has nothing to do with the day. It has to do with life. I can't even explain it. And now I know why I tossed and turned all night. When David, my mom's partner, when he wasn't well, there was one particular night he wasn't well, and I tossed and I turned all night. I didn't know until the next day, and when they took him to the hospital. So, I get these things. Sometimes I don't recognize what they are, and I wonder if any of you have those sort of intuitive, there's this energy that seems to shake you up and you can't seem to settle, and there's something in the wind, there's something in the energy in the air that seems to focus your intuitiveness. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, that is kind of, I know my mom had it when I was young. When I was young, my mom could tell when I wasn't well or when I wasn't feeling well. And my mom used to go to work. She used to get up 5 in the morning And my grandmother lived with us, and she used to go to work for 6, and she'd be home by 2 in the afternoon. So when we come home from school, she was home. But my grandmother, used to, and my dad, of course, would go to work at a regular time. I don't know, 8 o'clock, whatever. Um, and it was always my grandmother to send us off. So in the mornings, and I remember Mom would call at home to see how I was. And sure enough, I was sick or something. And she said, she used to toss and turn. There was something that was bothering her, and she knew. I remember one time I was married. I was living in Germany. My ex-husband was military. And my mom sent us a telegram because we didn't have phones where we were. Our homes didn't have phones like today. We've got everything. And I hadn't written to her in a while, and she sent us a telegram saying that she had a feeling something wasn't right. And at the time, my ex-husband and I, it was our first year of marriage. It was a horrible year, getting to know each other, being married, a new place, a new country, and we were having, difficulties in letting each other know how we felt about things, doing the compromise thing. And, I was over compromising. And she sent and when she got that telegram, we phoned. We went to a place where we could use the phone and phone them and told them that it was, was okay. It was okay. We were just having a little bit of trouble, and we didn't want to bother them with it and all that stuff. But Mom was intuitive. Moms are very intuitive. We know when something is not right in the family, and sometimes things bother us and we don't even know why. We don't click in until the event happens, and we say, well, that's what was that was the turbulence in my energy field, in my dreaming, in my sleep pattern, in my that off day that you have sometimes. I find that absolutely fascinating. I just do. I gotta have some tea. Oh, a good cup of tea sometimes is the best. I know you shouldn't be drinking tea and coffee, especially if it's caffeinated, before you go to bed, but sometimes I find a good cup of tea at night is what I need. I just need that cup of tea. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've always drank tea and never drank coffee. I don't know. Never acquired the taste for coffee. I love chocolate, coffee cream, chocolate. Laura Secor here has beautiful chocolate with a coffee cream in. I love that, but I cannot stand coffee. It's really, really bizarre. I don't know. One of my quirks. I tried to drink coffee when I was younger, twice. Forget it. I just couldn't do it. Anyway, so that has been my day. That has been, just one of those things that I found very odd, that I, tossed and turned, and there was a reason for it, and that's what it was. My son-in-law was not well, and I love him to bits. He is such a good husband, and he's such a good father. And having diabetes has always been a burden to him. It's always been something that he's hated because it's stopped him from doing some of the things he really loves to do. At least when he was younger, and as he got older, he realized he could do more and more, and that's why, my son-in-law, my daughter, love to play floor hockey every Sunday, because they're together, they're active, they have friends. It's a sport they can do together, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing for the two of them. It also teaches them patience with each other. you know what men are like when they lose, you know, it's, oh, darn, and, you know, you hit the stick down and whatever, you know, and my daughter knows how to, deal with the little quirks, the little male quirks of whatever they are. But I just wanted to talk to you about that sort of feeling that happens to me. I don't know if I talked about it in another video or not, but the year, not last year, the year before, when I lost 5 members of my family, all elderly, and my puppy, in the spring and in the summer, there was a dove that was cooing outside my window on a lamppost, and I think I even took a video trying to capture she was there, and that was sort of a sign for me that you know, something was going to happen. I don't know if I told you in the video. I might have. I was walking my dog in the front of my building, and they always have beautiful flowers in the front of the building. They're gorgeous. And I was looking down at the dog as we were walking, and out of the flowers were quite tall. I mean, there were some shorter ones in the front, but there was a gap between the building, the surface of the building wall, and the first part of plants. So I think there was something there. And a dove fluttered out of there like as if it was in distress, right across in front of me. And I took that as a sign, you know, that something was up that I was not aware of. It was like trying to, I'm sounding silly. I know I'm sounding crazy, but I believe there are signs in life. I believe there are things that are trying to get our attention, to pay attention to something, and sometimes we're not quite sure what. But that was amazing to me, that it came that close to me. The thing is I didn't visually see it do that. You know, I didn't see it fly up like this. It was like flutter, flutter while I'm looking down at the dog, and it's already gone by. As you know, I could feel it. I could feel the wind from the wings. It was that close, and now I find I'm a little bit more watchful of these things. Now, I know they call them mourning doves and that they have nothing to do with death, but I think they have messages. At least for me, I think they have messages, and I need to be more aware when I see them of my family, to keep in touch with my family somehow. I don't know. What do you think? Have any of you had sort of that kind of something happen that triggers a question in your mind as to, was that a sign? Was that a premonition? Was that some energy force trying to tell me something? I don't know. I often wonder about that, you know, and I used to be much more in tune. I used to be a little bit better at reading people. I think it's because I am so focused on my mom right now and my brother that I've kind of shut away anything else, and I've, you know, and it's more of I don't think it's a good thing that my focus is so much on my mom and my brother, and the sadness of losing who they are to another place where we're having trouble communicating. Do you know what I'm saying? That that I'm not open to other energy feelings, to other intuitions, to any other, and I think that any other signs that I'm supposed to be getting shake me up in my sleep, because it seems to be the only time that, they can shake me up and say, hey, there's something going on you need to pay attention to. It sounds strange, maybe, but in my experience, it's very true. It's very, for me, it's very true. There are signs out there. Sometimes we need to pay attention. And like I say, when I was alone and I had the dog and I'd take him for a walk, I was very much in tune with nature and with life and with my, the care of my dog and my cat. And, I had time to meditate. I had time to pray, to look after myself a little bit, and to be aware, of my surroundings. And I find that, like anything else, when you're a caregiver, your focus is definitely on the subject that you're caring for, and other things kind of get blocked. And sometimes I think we need to open ourselves up again. And maybe these evenings when Mom goes to bed early, I should be, meditating more and focusing more and tuning my intuition feelings, my energies, tuning them a little bit more so that I'm more aware of other things rather than just my worry, that little ball of sadness that sometimes, falls on our head. Anyway, it was a very heavy subject. I just, I had thought about it and just found it was rather interesting that my tossing and turning all night had a significance, because I usually, maybe sometimes I'll have trouble falling asleep, but once I'm asleep, I sleep well. So the tossing and turning and getting up and being too hot and being too cold, window open, window closed, thirsty, not thirsty, hungry, not hungry. It was just one of those tossy-turny. I'd get up and I'd be frustrated getting up because what is it? What is it that? And then the morning comes and everything, falls into place. And it's like, yoo-hoo, I've been trying to tell you something, but you weren't paying attention. Anyway, I want to thank you all for joining me today, and forgive me for my babbling and my going on about intuition, but I often wonder, if people realize that there are signs out there that help us, that we only discover after and go, that's why that happened. I don't know. What do you think? Am I just a silly girl here babbling on about intuitions and psychics and, energy forces and signs? And I think there are signs out there for all of us. And sometimes those signs are to give us lessons, and some of them are to make us pay attention. Am I crazy? I don't think so. Thanks for joining me today on this Tea with Me Tuesday. I really appreciate all of your love and support. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me today on this Tea with Me Tuesday, and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now.